Homemade hamburger buns in just 30 minutes. These are soft, fluffy, buttery, and so much better than store-bought. Let me show you just how quick and easy these are to make.
Welcome y'all to Robin on the Farm. It's summertime, so it's barbecue season, it's cookout season, and the surest way to make them even better this year is to make homemade hamburger buns. These are my 30-minute hamburger buns. These are a classic cookout bun. They are delicious. If you're getting ready for Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, don't be pulling out a plastic bag of store-bought hamburger buns. Make these instead. You can do it. These are no fail, super simple. These have no rise. We're just gonna mix them up, shape them, throw them in the oven to bake. You're gonna love these. So let's just get started on this super simple recipe for homemade hamburger buns ready in under 30 minutes. If you're really hustling, you can have these done in about 25 minutes. Okay, to get started, I'm gonna start with 1 cup or 240 grams of lukewarm water. You want this to be about 100 to 110 degrees. Just throw that right on into the mixing bowl of your stand mixer. You can use any stand mixer that you have. You can use a KitchenAid, a Bosch. I'm using my Nutrimil RT stand mixer. After the water, now I'm gonna add some sugar. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm just gonna add this right on into the water. This is for taste, but this also helps jumpstart your yeast activity, which is important because this is such a quick recipe, no rise. So this will help it rise. That was 8 grams of sugar. Now I'm gonna add some yeast. I'm gonna use my Saf Instant yeast, and I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons, which is about 18 grams of this Saf Instant yeast. Now, this really helps these be a 30-minute recipe. So it is more yeast than we would normally use in a hamburger bun recipe, but this helps them be ready super fast, no rise. Next, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of melted butter. This is salted butter. You can use unsalted butter just fine too. Or you can use a 1/4 cup of any kind of oil that you wanna use. Either one will work just fine. I do like the taste, that richness that the butter gives these hamburger buns, but oil works just fine too if you'd rather do that. So a 1/4 cup or 57 grams of melted butter right on into your mixer. To that, I'm gonna add 1 large egg. Just add that right on in. You don't have to mix it up, whisk it, or anything. Your mixer will do all that for you. Now it's time for the flour. I'm gonna add 3 cups or 360 grams of bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour, but I'm gonna add that right on into my mixing bowl. Now I did measure mine out. I weighed it out just to give you the most accurate measurement possible. But when you're making bread dough is really affected by humidity or dryness. So as this gets mixing, you might need to add a little bit more water or a little bit more flour. I'll show you exactly how to do that. And our very last ingredient already, see these are so quick to put together, is 1 teaspoon of salt. This is my Breadman's Real Salt. I love using this salt. But I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon. I'm gonna put it right on in there with everything else right on top of my flour. That's 6 grams of salt. Now that I have all of the ingredients for these 30-minute hamburger buns in my mixer, I'm gonna get this going, and I'm gonna let this mix up and knead for about 5 minutes. I let my dough knead for 4 minutes. Now, after it had started mixing and kneading for about a minute, I checked on my ball of dough, and it was too wet. So I actually added another 1/2 cup of flour. That's another 60 grams. I do live in the South and it is a super humid day. So I'd say start with 3 cups. You might need as much as 3.5 cups for these 30-minute hamburger buns. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it straight out of the mixing bowl. This is a no rise recipe, so we don't have to let it rise right now. We're gonna go straight into shaping our buns. Oh my goodness, look at this gorgeous dough. It's really, really light. You can tell as soon as you take it out of your mixing bowl that it's light. It's gonna make really good, soft, and pillowy hamburger buns for us. Now, when you're adding more flour, you just wanna be sure that you can handle it. If yours is a little bit too sticky and it's sticking to your hands, then you're not gonna be able to shape it into hamburger buns. So be sure to add just enough so that it's still tacky, but not sticking to your hands. Because if it's sticking to your hands, it's gonna be hard to shape, but you don't wanna get it too dry either, or your buns are gonna be a little bit too dense. Okay, so for this recipe, you can make 8 hamburger buns, you can make 10, you can make 6 if you want them to be really big. I like the size that 8 make, so I'm gonna make 8 hamburger buns. So I'm gonna take this dough, and I'm just gonna slice it into 8 portions. You can get out your scale if you want them to be totally perfect, but I'm not gonna do that. Now you can shape your buns any way that you'd like to. Sometimes when I'm making hamburger buns, I'll kind of press them flat and make them about the same size as the hamburgers that we're gonna be eating. Or you can just roll it into a nice ball and you'll have more of a domed, bigger bun. Those are really great for pulled pork sandwiches. And I actually have a Boston butt on the smoker right now, so I'm gonna be making some pulled pork sandwiches with these. So I'm simply gonna roll these into a ball and I'm gonna put them on my baking sheet. I'm using this great cast iron baking sheet. It doesn't have any of those coatings or anything like that to get into our foods. You can use any cookie sheet that you have. You can line it with some parchment paper if you'd like to, but I've just got mine oiled up really well. The main thing with these buns is that you want to be sure that you have a nice, smooth top. So I like to kind of stretch the top out and tuck the ends under, pinch the ends under, and then continue rolling them into a ball, just like this. And then when you place it onto your baking sheet, you can either leave them in a ball or you can press them out a little bit, either one you want to do. As my dough was mixing, I got my oven preheating to 425 degrees. So go ahead and do that, or you're going to be waiting to put these into the oven. I have all 8 of my hamburger buns shaped, and if you look, you can see that the ones that I shaped first have already risen a ton. They're way bigger than these ones that I just finished. So see how quick this recipe is? They rise really fast, even without needing to let them rise. Okay, now remember, these are homemade hamburger buns. Mine aren't gonna look perfect, and I am okay with that. And I hope that you're okay with that too. Now, this is totally optional, but to give them that really pretty finish, I have some egg wash. And I'm gonna brush these with an egg wash, and then I'm gonna put some sesame seeds on. I have white sesame seeds, and I have black sesame seeds. Totally optional, but you can also use everything bagel seasoning. You can just put on a little bit of coarse sea salt. That would be really good too. Or just leave them totally plain. This egg wash will give them that pretty shiny golden finish. So I like it. So I do suggest doing this. Now this is 1 egg with 1 teaspoon of water, and I just whisked it up. So I'm just gonna brush this on really, really quickly, and then it's gonna be time to throw these into the oven. Now that I have each one brushed with the egg wash, I'm gonna add the sesame seeds. I'm gonna do a mixture of the black and the white sesame seeds just because I have both of them and I thought it would be fun. But I'm just gonna add a little bit. You don't have to do this, of course. These are ready to go into the oven. I have my oven preheated to 425 degrees. I'm gonna let these bake for about 10 to 12 minutes until they are golden and beautiful.
These homemade hamburger buns are fresh out of the oven and they only baked for 10 minutes. That's all it took. And aren't they gorgeous? These are better than anything I've ever seen in a grocery store. These buns are soft, fluffy, and buttery. And can you even believe that they only take 30 minutes from start to finish? Just look how soft and pillowy they are. These homemade buns are not like a roll that you're going to double as a hamburger bun. These have the perfect hamburger bun texture. They're perfectly light and tender, but still sturdy enough to hold all of your favorite burger toppings. These could steal the show at your next barbecue or cookout because they are just that good. I wanted to slice into one of these buns so that you could see the texture. I want you to see that you can slather on as much mayo and ketchup and mustard, pile on your meat and your lettuce and your tomato, and these are just the perfect hamburger texture. They're not going to fall apart on you, which I feel is super important for hamburger buns. You're going to be amazed how good these are for 30-minute hamburger buns, and once you try these, you will never go back to store-bought. These are our handmade beeswax bread bags that my daughters and I make together. I store all of my homemade breads, including these buns, in these beeswax bread bags. They're a great alternative to plastic bread bags. You can find them and the printable recipe for these 30-minute buns on my website, robinonthefarm.com. I bet you'll also like my 10-minute pizza dough recipe my 30-minute French bread, and my 3-ingredient butter muffin biscuits. I hope y'all love your homemade hamburger buns. Thanks so much for being here with me on Robin on the Farm. I'll see y'all next time.
Robin's in the kitchen, dough beneath her hands, wheat from the fields and eggs from her land. Sunlight through the window, a warm golden glow. She's working hard to make that dough. With flour on her apron, loving each need, ground wheat fresh, sowing her seed. The smell of fresh bread rises in the air. Simple life without a care.